Hello, and welcome back to Satisfactory. As it turns out, I have one more set of sub-assemblies to build before we can get into building the things that we need. Pressure conversion cubes, fused modular frames, and heavy encased frames are going to be needed. And I believe they import some things from 6 Easy Pieces. I could co-locate it with 6 Easy Pieces, at which point we start scrambling belts around. I should have thought of that earlier. I could have maybe put the 9 machines in some sort of nice geometrical order with some on a different level. Who knows? But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to build this up as a separate unit, which is going to have 3 factories in it. Plus, it has net imports, 7 net imports. And the exports, it's 3 exports plus the fluid tanks that go back. So it's really 3 active drone ports, 4 including the fuel one. So 4 drone ports in the middle. We need 3 build areas. We need 7 inputs. This sounds like basically 6 Easy Pieces was hexagonal array, and we're going to do kind of a square array. And I'm designing this on the fly. Let me reduce the size of my checklist, and I'm going to take it off of the editor. Why am I not flying? Oh, that's right. This corner doesn't have power. There we go. So I need someplace I can put basically 4 of these squares. What I'm going to do is I will build up a center area, which is 4 drone ports. I'll put it high. Next level, I'll do the same 3 levels. But instead of 6 of these guys, I need 4. I think I'll go north, south, east, west to give myself the maximum number of obvious attachment points for things. Now, in our 4 things we need to, well, 3 things we need to build, plus unpackaging the stuff. Let me bring the checklist back up here. Heavy encased frames are exported, and they're also used in fused modular frames. And that's the only linkage. We have 3 things we're building, and that's one of them is linked to the other one. So I need someplace out here in the desert where I can put something smaller than this, but not a lot smaller. I don't want to go toward the center. I don't know how big my build is going to be in the center. We basically have a building for each of the items we're going to be putting together. Part of the problem here is I have no intuition for how big my builds are. And I guess that's what I'm doing here during phase 4 is coming up with ideas like this kind of layout and realizing that they can scale. Could just put it out here in the middle somewhere. It's not like we're going to be using those nodes, right? I don't really like the idea of dropping on top. I could use, say, that rock right there as my centerpiece. So let's head over that direction. Helps if I turn on the move fast button. So if this rock is the center point, I want to arrange 4 drone ports up high, such that the hole between the 4 is centered above here. Okay, so what is my strategy here? Come on. There, foundations, 2-meter foundation. So we could center it over this group of 4. So for the drone ports to be centered on these, this has to be the corner of it. So that's the base of the post for the first one. Whoops. I'm glad I guessed right as to which one would have power. I'm guessing they all really have power. So if those are the bases of the so I don't want to put my manufacturing on this level. So we'll put the manufacturing one level up. I'm going to do that by putting out the drone stands as my spacer here. And it's actually easier for me to clip these guys on to each other and then verify we're standing on the right thing down below. So this level will be my manufacturing floor. And the next level up, oh, I need to hook up power to these guys. So that'll be the input floor, and there'll be one level above that. So, power to these guys. Well, goodness. This is kind of the bottom of a really big building, so it would not be out of line for there to be quite a bit of infrastructure built in underneath here. So I am going to hook you guys up. Well, actually, let's bring you down to the middle here and then out. Yes, I am consistently resisting the temptation to delete single blocks from a blueprinted thing, because that just makes it harder to erase it later. You erase the blueprint and then you have to erase that block you replaced. And the other one is over here. There, now I can remove this guy. I will worry about supports for this guy when I worry about supports for that guy. I'm getting the feeling that what's going to happen is I'm going to finish phase 4, I'm going to swing into phase 5, I rebuild a bunch of things to get phase 5 working. And this guy, I think I am just going to connect them vertically. I don't know whether I'm keeping them or not. Now, I didn't think straight. I should have set up these posts so that I didn't have to do this diagonal jog. Or set up the blueprint so I had access to the center point. So ideas for factory sections in the future. Anyway, so what I'm thinking is that we'll probably end up getting phase 4 done and swinging into phase 5 and starting to unlock things and starting to build up a bigger factory. And we may even finish phase 5 before we start thinking, how do we make these factories look good? Because I am mostly excited to see what happens at the end. Okay, so lower floor is building, middle floor is going to be the level where we have our passive inputs, or our active input drones, and then up at the top, these drone stands go up. And again, I'm just going to temporarily stitch them together. Long term, we'll be removing these, making these one big long vertical. So this really is temporary. And because it's temporary, I really should just do that. So up at the top, this is actually 3 passives, not 4. We're going to do 4. Again, like the 6 easy pieces, I may reuse this building for something else in the future. So we're going to make it a little bigger than we might otherwise need. Now, maybe it would have been better to set them up in a cross formation so the ports would be north, south, east, west rather than the 4 quadrants. But yeah, don't really care. So next level down, I want to place my actual factory floors on here. Easy way for me to do that is to trim off this edge. I'm going to replace it with the 4-meter tall foundation so I can clip my my other blueprints where I want them, which is not where they would normally be placed on this guy. So 4-meter foundations, and we're going to zoop. Since I'm not going to be aligning my factory floor blueprints with these on these corners. Okay, so we've got that built back out. We're actually going to be putting it here, midpoint. So can I please get this aligned properly? And this guy is here, I think. That is kind of finicky because I'm doing it with normal mode. It might be easier if I did it from this side. Nothing else, it means I can see what I'm looking at. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So there's our 4 build areas. They will need power. And I want to remove these guys. So I'm going to do my normal factory colors around the build area. There we go. Oops, didn't want to do you. Let's work out from the middle here carefully. Make sure we don't delete the stuff that's below us. There we go. So there's our build areas. I am going to take care of these guys now. Now we've done this before. Zap the wall outlets that we put in. So we're going to end up with just the center wall outlet for each pillar. Kind of fiddly. Glance up at the maximum dismantle limit from time to time. It's always important to do these methodically. Doesn't matter what the method is, just have a method so you can be sure that you have done the whole job. Now, I want this power to supply these two guys, but that means I need to have it on the proper center. So now we're going to put in our factory colors. I'm going to put this on, I really need 0987, put this on 6. We're going to do the same thing as before. I'm going to put two foundations worth of factory color around each one. That seemed to work out well for routing. I got the feeling while I was doing the routing, like I had a lot of space to work with. Okay, so the way I laid these guys down, they are overlapping badly. So I'm glad I caught this. I need to move them a half a grid out if I'm going to put them on that center. Let's think about this for a second. Do I actually want to do it like this, knowing that I can't center them up without having them on basically half grid from the global grid? Or I could put them diagonally. I think what I want to do is put them diagonally. So we're going to try this again. And I should not have gotten rid of everything here so quickly. I think, yeah, that should be good. So if I want to put them out on the diagonals, well, that means also that later on this building might be repurposed to be even larger. What I want to do is have this corner matches up with this cut corner here, which means I want this to go to the next one. Like that. We'll worry about that extra highlight in a moment. And we can just scrabble on all of that, and that should delete it. There we go. So if I do it here, that means that this has an obvious connection to that guy for our output. I like it. It also means that this guy is here. And I'm counting this one out. 7, 7. So I do want to have the lanes. In the interest of maybe making this much bigger in the future, I'm going to put these diagonal bits out, and I'm not going to put anything on the north, south, east, west corners between them, or north, south, east, west areas between them. We already know that these guys will be misaligned. And if we ever want to put something there, we'll worry about it then. Okay, so this is one of those times when we need to fill it all the way up to its maximum dismantle limit and scrub around a bit and then delete. There we go. So we got rid of that highlight. So we're leaving this area empty. We have plenty of room here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if I put a drone stand here, and I put a drone stand over there, they do have a small bit of space in between them. That works for me. Okay, so pillar, 1, 2, corner. There we go. Yeah, I wish I had thought ahead and just integrated these into the 6 Easy Pieces build. But I didn't. So pillar, boom, boom. This should be the corner. So the reason why I've been not hooking up the power quite yet is I want to be working on all of the pillars at once, so I make sure that I do them the same way. So the pillars are going to have to be just a through pillar right through the floor. I'm not going to be using these bolted things. And I want to bring the power out from the middle of that all the way through to the middle of this guy. So I've got all 4 of the floors down. I've got plenty of 2 foundation wide running areas. So we're going to get rid of these 4 thingies here. I am going to put in a gray foundation, 1 meter. And the power junctions are going to be on the bottom of that gray foundation. So, just like that. And then we connect from this guy out to this floor. Then we put in the pillar. So, yeah, I'll accept that. It's kind of a widening of the concrete pillar. I don't need to be bolted or anything. This is really just stabilizing this guy, and I am providing support from below. If I'm providing support from below, it probably ought to be a bolt-on from the bottom. I don't know. What do you guys think? I haven't really been worrying about whether my things are physical or not. I'm doing enough things just residing in the sky. Maybe what I'll just do is I'll bolt on something below these platforms that looks like a thruster that would just kind of make it hover in place. And this guy, I am going to drop in just a little 1x1 foundation there. So if I ever need to access those power thingies, I can. I'll take out the pillar while I'm at it. That'll make it a little easier to do the access. Okay, the pillar isn't in there. Be double sure that I have this attached. I do. Let's just go around clockwise. Okay, now it's your turn. You have power. And now you. You're connected. You're connected. Well, I'm going to make these concrete. No particular reason. Maybe it will discourage me from using them as routing areas for belts. So keep the belts on the blue. Maybe I'll slide belts through the center, in which case I'll put more blues across the center. So there's my 4 build areas. There's my passive outputs are up top. I can remove this, and again, we're going to do the same thing up here. I'm just going to join the pillars on this level, so they don't need any collaring or anything around them to make it look like they're supporting anything, because the stuff that's on this level is all peripheral. It's all arranged on the outside. Actually, let's do this the easy way. Let's mark all the pillars. Let's mark all the foundations. Get rid of them. Let's mark the outlets for the bottom, which is also going to include... Nope, it doesn't include that guy. Okay, now the outlets from the top. We don't want to delete the one in the middle. Very careful to not mark the one in the middle of the post. Frick. Fortunately, I have access to the one on the bottom. So you come up to here. That replaces him. Darn it. And that means that when I delete the thing as a blueprint, well, there's the rest of this stuff I'm going to be getting rid of anyway. So if I delete these blueprints, there's going to be this part in the middle that has to be manually deleted. There we go. Oh, and this guy needs to be put back in place. And that gets our power up to these nubs. Let's verify. Yep. So the passive drone ports will go up here. I am going to continue onward with making this a generic build. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put active drone stations all around. And what we'll do is we will simply only use the ones that we currently want. I will set up the drone ports. I'll give them drones. I will give them fuel. I will leave them with an appropriate name for a unallocated fetch drone. So we're going to call this installation Big 4. So why is that guy still showing? There. While I'm thinking of it, is everybody else aligned? 1, 2, 3, 4. Just checking to make sure he is on top. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So all 12 of these are properly aligned. Next step, running the power. Again, I wish that I had left myself with access to the center power line. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this guy down to here and bring him in. And I can actually do it the other way too. See, I think if I run the line straight, it's going to show above the deck. And I want to keep all of my ugliness. If I can't put it inside the deck, I want to put it below the deck. This guy's in the wrong place. I didn't catch that on my way around. There. I'm beginning to think that I should have left these pillars with, maybe with the bottom not hooked up. So you place the pillar, you connect the power, and then you put the last piece in place. So my one regret on the ring that I did before was that I had my drone fuel on the ring, and that kind of introduces an asymmetry where one area of the ring has one drone port less that you can, than the other quadrants if you break it up into sections. So as you go around, it's all symmetrical, but there's one asymmetry, which is where you have to have the drone fuel come in. And I think what I want to do is actually bring my drone fuel in dead center, because we aren't doing anything else dead center. We're about done. It should be getting close to completion. I may regret building out a whole bunch of active drone port stands that I'm not actually going to use until much later in the game, but makes it symmetric. And he is hooked up. We're done. So if I put a drone port in the middle at this level, he didn't get buttoned. That would be a 5x5 area centered inside this 4x4. Oh, okay, so if I put in a 4x4 blueprint, that would allow me to center it. Do I still have a 4x4 blueprint? Might be useful, might not. Did I leave a 4x4 foundation anywhere? 4x5. Yeah. So I need to do up a really quick 4x4 foundation to act as my base for the drone port. So what I'll do, no, I won't. I will just do this. We want the 8x4. The heck? What do you mean 8x2? 8x1? 8x2? Do these exist? Wouldn't that be great? Clear Blueprint Designer. Now we go back to the middle. We drop that in. And now that we have a foundation centered at that spot, I can drop in my drone stand. And notice the cut corners. If those were full-size foundations, they would clip into the poles, but they're not, so they don't. This is perfectly okay for my book. So we're still going to have a symmetry that works. And this guy will need to be asymmetric in one way, and that is I'm going to have to set a preferred orientation. That's kind of implied. If we have one fuel drone port, then at a minimum, it has an orientation. So if we wanted to make this actually rotationally symmetric, we would need 4 of them to have the symmetry. I don't want to do that. That's excessive. So from here, we will drop our outputs down. I want to split it out 4 ways. So we have what I'd really like to do. Now, what I'll do is I'll put a big ring of fuel around the outside, like I've done before, and this guy will just have its fuel going out one direction to merge into it. Okay, so for these guys, these are inputs. They'll be facing out, which means the drone fuel. Well, let's put one down. Let's put one here. So if I put it here, no, let's put it here. If I put it here, I stand a better chance of having a building that slopes down and hits this edge, but also allows these to stick out. So this guy right here is the pole. And what I want to do is I'm going to do the same thing as I did before. We'll actually have the fuel line come in along this edge, so it'll be half clipped into the concrete. Oh, wait a minute. Over there, the consistency was we were half clipped in on the outside ring. Ah, right. So let's grab one of those. And we were actually, we want to move this in by half. So we do that, and 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to run this around. Oh, we're going to be off by a half foundation here. I thought we might. Way to get around that. 3, 4. We're going to do that. Come on. There we go. And that establishes our tray on which we are going to run fuel. It establishes that it is strongly linked to the supports. And I think for these corners, I'll have the I'll see if I can do the drone port facing diagonally. Now I know I can do that by putting down some diagonal foundations. I wonder if I can turn the port itself by 45 degrees. That would be more convenient. Still, you know, if I have to raise the port by a meter, not a problem. There we go. So there's our fuel tray. So to make this work, we need to pick up our fuel on there because the merger is going to be dead center on the line. So for these guys, we'll put in the lift. Then we need a splitter coming in from the back. A splitter, not two splitters, a splitter. Now, I'm not sure whether I actually connected that properly or not. I always worry when I put down something like that if I'm clipping it to the lifter or to the ground. If I'm clicking it to the ground, it might not actually be clicking into the lifter. So that's the situation I want to set up with these guys. Let's put the drone ports in. Okay, I cannot turn him. What I'll do is I'll come back to do the diagonals separately. Now, I'm a little worried that on my diagonals, I might not have it properly aligned to connect up to the fuel. But that means that maybe my fuel tray runs differently on the corners. So what I would do here is turn you by 90 degrees. If we put it on like that, that could work. That gives you a little more room. Could I put an upward corner in there? That would work. Okay, it's a little extra work on the corner guys, but I think it looks okay. And let's see, you're gonna have a hard time hitting that hole. We may have to bring you out significantly further. Okay, well, let's get these guys built at least. So where did I put him? I put him on here. And these were upward corners like this. It's called an inverted down corner. And that's not right. So how did I build this? I started off with this row. I start off with one centered on here, like this. Got it. So we are centered. Let's make sure we are centered here. We're going to do a zoop like that. One left, one on the right, delete him, grab a corner, move around to where I can see which one is the corner. I should make that into a blueprint, huh? So I'm thinking it might be a modest amount of time until we actually get around to making our pressure conversion cubes, but that's all right. We're going to end up with a building that we can use for something else during the next phase. And I'll be working out how I want things to look. Did I place two of those? I think I placed two of those. It felt like I placed two of those. I wonder. No, if I bring this down straight, if I put more of these in and bring it down, we still have a diagonal problem for our merger. I would rather take care of the diagonal up top. Okay, so we now have 12 active stations. I'm going to put in the fuel station here. I think I'm going to have him arriving from the north. Where am I? I am here. Fuel's actually to the west. Let's have him arriving from the west. And we are going to arrange it so you are coming right down the middle. So if you are lifting off from this drone port, you would prefer to go through the hole here. So we need to pick up our fuel, and we need to output fuel here. So this is going to go down, it's going to go across to here, and we're going to pick up a splitter. And I think I'm going to head south to merge to this guy. So we want to zoop from here. So our fuel tray, some combination of that. So the smart splitter needs to be underneath this, along this line, and along that line. Again from the right. I think I can still see it from the top. There we go. And I tapped it twice. Let's get rid of the second one. Now I am using a smart splitter here because I absolutely want this to fuel himself absolutely first before sending any fuel to anybody else. Not even a 50-50 split. I want all of it to go that way. So this guy is all straight through and overflow to the left. Okay. Power. Since I aligned it on the squares, it's still at this point on that square. So boom to here. No. There. And we sneak it back to the middle. This power connection is for everybody. Let's get him fetching fuel. Oh, he still doesn't have power. That's because I haven't hooked him up down below yet. This is actually a blueprint. I'm going to try to honor that. He comes down dead center. And why has that guy got a blue foundation on him? Good enough. I want to put the 1 meter concrete foundations in on the bottom like that. So you have power coming to here, and you are powered. And I am going to take you from where? All ports. Drone fuel. So we're taking from south, west, south, east, north. Let's see, east. Let's do from east. And I need to seed you with some fuel. So, going to run around with these guys and try to do the same thing to each one. We'll get the corners the second time around. So that's what I want it to look like. Make sure all the ones that are on the lines on the edges are proper. If I were redoing this, I wouldn't put them on the corners. I would do something slightly different. I think I could move one over that way and one over that way and somehow get like several across there. I don't know. Of course, I could have taken that base foundation and rotated it 45 degrees, and I would have ended up with a nice 45-degree drone post. I need to start remembering about that earlier on in my design process. I am so guilty of Cartesian coordinate thinking. Okay, so let's work out the holes for the corner guys now. We still want it just inside this edge. And this guy is still blanked. Can I put it like here? So from here, this is from there, like that. Doesn't look too bad. But I try to do it straight. So straight, it will ascend and make a turn and be very awkward. If I do it the other way with straight, it fails. Because it tries to descend and then make the turn. If I raise it, okay. Well, that's not too bad, but still not great. What if I put these further down, say here? Come out this way and come along. So I center it up there for convenience. So straight tries to do that. Well, straight really ends up telling us where we could put this thing. Let's double check this. Keep the same geometry. Put it like that. And we'll have to worry about those. Well, that's going to have to come out anyway to like here. So from the center line, we're going to go over one foundation, back a meter, and then out to the edge. Over one foundation, back and out to there. Okay, so we're going to do this one step at a time. We're going to look at what we've got. I'll do all the corners all the way up for the stuff on top. Up one and facing back. Oh, I didn't check what was going on underneath. It should be okay. Yeah, this is good. I would have much preferred go horizontally and then go diagonally, but this is good enough. Okay, now the belts, we're in straight mode, so we come from here and we go back up to there. I wish my hover pack moved faster. I think I am going to refrain from hooking up any of the downward lifts until I actually need them, because you never really know which direction you're going to take off from below. And you are trying to unload. Okay, so we have these done. So now we hook up the lifters for the rest of the fuel here. So it's going to take 12 stacks of fuel to fill up the drone ports, and who knows how much more fuel to saturate the rest of the lines and lifts. But we're getting 9 stacks of fuel every time the drone moves. Whoops. Okay, I think I have all of the lifters. So all of our lifters and belt work is done above deck for the fuel. So we're going to go back to here, and we're going to start running you out like this. So we have a merger here. Yeah, I think what I'm going to do is connect each one up individually. And this needs to have, I'm going to put a splitter on my hot bar. Put you back on 6. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to watch this occur and then go up here and see if he gets his fuel. And what we're going to notice is that I put this in sideways. And the other thing to notice is these guys don't have power yet. So part of this will be hooking the power up. Is it there? Yeah, I think that was it. So probably want to put the power onto these guys first. Now this guy is going to come up and he's going to make a turn. So let's get him this far first. His power is going to be in an odd location. Okay, you've got power. Lifter's in place. Splitter's in place. Fuel's on that line, that's correct. We make the turn. Fuel's in motion, and we are fueled. We can drop drones in as we go, too. Don't know where these guys are going. Oh, I programmed them. Okay, so we have power, fuel lifter, fuel splitter, belt, drone. This is I am going to name these by what clock position they're in. Or, yeah, these are not exactly on clock positions, are they? I'll call it A through whatever. So this is A. This is big for shopper. A. Actually, let's do that. Now notice I'm just putting in normal splitters on these. I'm not using a priority split. So no drone port is going to soak up all the fuel. It will tend to circle around even when they're picking its stuff up. But earlier drone ports will take half the fuel if they can get it. Oh, that's too long. Okay. Make sure you're getting fuel. You're D, right? Yeah. So we got the same thing here. We're going to bring you out to somewhere convenient. I forgot where you ended up. Yeah, power first. Oh, did you get a drone? You didn't get a drone. You have fuel coming in. You have your fuel coming in. If I look at all the ports, I say big four. Notice we've got A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all of that. All of them is checkmark status. And this guy is bringing in fuel from drone fuel E. So we're good. I didn't hologram that, and I regret it. Hey, can I do this adjustment from the top? Yes, I can, and it's a lot easier. Now, I could skip I and go right to J. That's kind of a convention in a lot of places. But it's not important. There we go. I said this was a lot easier from above, didn't I? Bing, there we go. I think I'm not very consistent, possibly because there's no perfect location. And it probably also depends on what direction I'm looking at it from and whether I've gotten a really good down view of it. But what happens in the subfloor stays in the subfloor. So we actually only have a small number of inputs. I think we've got 7 actives that we need. So this is like, I'm spending a lot of time here just putting things together. Chopper K, you have fuel. You have a drone. So there we go. We have our 12 active shoppers ready to be configured for what they're pulling. We have our fuel coming in. We have locations for output drones. And I think I'm going to go ahead and set these up as diagonals. Yeah, let's follow our other idea, which is get the cursor set up to build one kind of thing and then go build it. And we're going to go default on this so I can go, oops. So I can go boom, 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 boom. Delete these 4. And the corners I have to do from below so I can see what's going on. So here we go. Hey, I just saw the fuel drone arrive coming down the middle as designed. Nice. I think a couple of my drone ports are so high that the drones actually arrive and come up from below, which is kind of wild. I think I saw that on my sulfur port, was it? Or my drone port was actually out over the cliff. There we go. And now we put the drone ports in. These guys don't need fuel. Oh, come on. Oh, right. So they require a 2x3 area underneath the main part. They don't require the full 3x3. But if you turn them sideways, the 2x3 area that you're expecting is not possibly, like, that doesn't work, but that does. So let's start from north. And this is big 4 supplier A, supply A. I need to get power to these guys in a moment. Okay. I think I'm going to do is just for ease, I'm just going to bring them all back to here. Unless that looks really bad. That works. And again, I have 4 passive stations when I only need 3. There we go. Now, I wish I could just do a mega blueprint where I just clip all of this into a blueprint. So I could, like, you know, just place the whole thing down at once somewhere. And that's good. I am going to go grab something to wet my whistle, and then we'll come back and we'll build the rest of this thing. We're an hour and a half in, and we're finally getting started with the assembler, blender, manufacturer, and packager, which are going to be the only residents of this whole big thing for now. I'll be right back. So, since we have 4 things to put down plus a sink, it amuses me to do my unpackaging in an entire quarter. So I'm going to unpackage here, which means I'm going to arbitrarily say that this guy is going to go pick up my packaged fuel. So this is package nitrogen, that is. Okay. Package nitrogen supply. So you go get me some nitrogen. Now I am going to be needing this guy coming down and this guy going back up. And it kind of needs to happen over in this square. So I'm going to go here and here. And again, on the corner, we want to raise it 1 so the straightener doesn't need to go up a slope. That's acceptable. So we have our canisters of nitrogen coming down and our empties going back up. And the nitrogen is going to flow from here to where? Nitrogen gas. He flows to the fused modular frame, which also needs the heavy encased frame. So the fused modular frame is going to go to the north of us. So, production. We're going to put the packager right dead centered. Now, on the big 6, I did put the smart splitter and everything all up here. I'm going to do this down below. So this guy is going to come out here, and it's going to go right into a smart splitter. Oh, we have the gas coming out, so I need to make a turn. I'll bring it around here. Actually, Let's move this guy over here. Give ourselves a little bit extra room. So this is going to come around this way. Let's put a smart splitter like this. And a, oops, awesome sink. I'm just going to put him in the corner. I'm going to center it on that 2x2 area. Just like that. And you come down. I'm just going to bring you directly to the corner. I could bring him down to the middle and then in, but I am beginning to get weary of fiddling with the stuff. So overflow goes to the left. And my main output is going to be to the right. And this guy gets none. And that's about as easy belt routing as you can get. You know, weary of having the power of routing the power is probably not a thing for me. I just realized I really need to put that awesome sink's power in the right place. I just can't get away from it. I think there. So the awesome sink his power is going to be kind of along this edge of the middle square and that corner right there of that square. So he's not on the diagonal. So we're not going to divert that. There we go. So you have power. You have power. You need to be set up for unpackaged nitrogen gas. And you are going to be heading that way. So can I bring you around this way and turn the corner on, say, this line? And leave you elevated. So this hole is not at a convenient level for elevation. We have a choice between too high and too low. I wonder if I can turn and drop using a horizontal or vertical. Oh, it would clip into the belt below it. I'm going to try some different routing strategies Horizontal to vertical from there. Okay, so we're not going to get a step down. Point. Pipe. Logistics pipes. Stackable pipeline. That's about as good as we're going to get. So we'll use the stackable pipelines to set the level as we head it north towards the next thing. At some point, I want to go check out my nitrogen farm again and make sure that we're not building up any empties. It should be using them fairly quickly. That isn't connected right. Oh no. Okay, so that checks off the packager. And the nitrogen gas is needed for the fused modular frames, which also need the heavy encased. So we'll do the heavy encased frames diagonally opposite. This is going to require a manufacturer, which takes in modular frames, encased industrial beams, steel pipe, and concrete. So he has 4 distinct inputs. I did not anticipate this. We're going to have to use one of those two. So the fused modular frame, which is over here, is going to require our output plus casings and nitrogen gas. So he only needs 1. So we'll steal from him. So he'll come down and we'll bring him across, and then he'll join up with him and him and him to make this guy. So production, manufacturer. I want to have this guy coming across this way, so he's going to send his output over there. Whoops, if I do it this way, then we send it across here. That's better. Yeah, that should work. I'm setting up some stopping points here in case some of this turns out to be not the best routing. So this is heavy encased frames. Modular frames are coming in here. I'm going to be disappointed at some point if I start setting up a fetcher like this and we don't have anybody doing his thing, because I think I got all of that set properly. Now you are just going to come out to here. Because that's super duper easy. And you're going to point inward. And you're going to come all the way around to here. So there's our modular frame input. The next input is steel pipe. That's you. And again, I'm bringing you out in the same place. Raise you up 1 because you're a corner piece and you are offset. So there we go. And you need to come in there. In straight mode, that just snaps right in. This is steel pipe for Big 4. Steel pipe supply. And that's actually coming from the aluminum factory, but we don't care who's providing it. We just want steel pipes. Next one is the encased industrial beams. You're going to come in here, so we drop the hole in. Okay. Encased industrial beam supply. Now this guy does come down in the middle of here. I could move the hole, but I want to leave as much as possible of this to be reused later on, which means I want to be consistent about where I place things so I don't keep tripping myself up. And the last thing is the modular frames. Again, yes, this means I'm going to be doing something ugly down below, but down below is where we do the ugly. Modular frame supply. There we go. And the little drone is awake. Now I'm going to bring this to the left. Now the difference is I'm going to stop halfway here. And I'm going to say we're relocating you over to this lane. And I want to do a little bit further there so that there. And that puts our lane switch right there, compact right in the middle. Now these already have trip time estimates, so 2 minutes 30, 325, and so on. This guy's already got pipes coming, yay. So 2 minutes 40. So this last one is the, and I missed when I was looking earlier, but the fused modular frames themselves are going to have to go diagonally across to there. So we want the fused modular frames to be coming out toward the middle. Oh. This guy also needs to be exported. Dope. So he comes out and he'll need to be exported and he'll need to go across to the other side. I'd like to bring him up there, but that's not going to work. Let's bring him up here. So we'll need to have a hole down at the bottom. That he can aim for. Actually, let's... There. You're coming down all the way to here. I do not like that at all. I really just don't like that at all. I think what I need to do is put a hole at this level. Yeah. I think I'm going to put a longer hole. Triple check that I'm at the right place. And let's turn him to match the one below it. I don't like that it stops like that. So, splitter here. This is splitting. Oops. 2.8 heavy modular frames. And he takes 1.5, 2. I suppose half each way would work. Oh, I didn't hook up power to you. Okay. So your power is going to come down somewhere in there. Maybe on that corner of that guy. Let's hologram it in. And that's actually right on that line. So I'm going to go from you to you, and from you back to you. And I'm going to see if I can snip just that cable. There we go. Wait a minute. Oh, that's supposed to be concrete. Doofus, 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 doofus. So we may be getting back a bunch more modular frames. I'll tell you what, I will just put in a sink. Or actually even easier, I will just put in a box. And I'm betting he's going to drop off a whole bunch of modular frames. But just in case he drops off concrete, okay, so he came back to touch base with us and refuel before heading out for concrete. Well, that's nice. So I ended up with a whole bunch of extra modular frames. Can I dump them back into the input port here? Not really. Let's see, what all can I dump out of this guy? Boom, 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 boom. Oops. So a lot of this stuff I do not need to carry. And we have a bunch more coupons. I need to check that first thing when I get into the server, because this does sync a lot of stuff. So ICANN has concrete now. So concrete is a 2 minute, 51 second round trip, 18 fuel per trip. Here he comes. Yeah, that was silly. Don't know how I managed to confuse myself and get two stations building modular frames and not notice it. There we go. Now we have concrete. And this should now start building our heavy encased frames. And I can now check this off. So the fused modular frames take the heavy modular frames and the nitrogen gas and aluminum casings Oh, and that ping, if you hold down Alt and click somewhere, it pings. So if you Alt tab away, when you come back, it's going to ping. So we're kind of forced to have one guy go a diagonal because this guy goes into here and this guy goes into here and that guy goes into there. So all three of them have to connect to this guy. So let's see. I think I'm going to want this to come in on a far lane. And this needs to come in on a lane such that we can sneak that guy out in the middle. Okay, I centered him, which probably wasn't what I wanted. What I want to do is I want to lay out some of these stackables, which are the height that I want to be working at. We'll just put them in line here. So, actually, let's bring you to here. I want to bring you to here, and then I want to make a turn like this. Oh. Yep, 2 hours. Okay. This is a blender, so I don't have absolute freedom in who goes where. Let's get the blender put down first. And we do need to have the outputs coming out this corner. Which means the pipe. Oh, I should have tried this earlier. Oh, damn. Because, well, we can do it. We can do it. I'm going to put it over in the other corner. We'll just have to reroute that stuff. So it's going to go over here. And I think I'm going to use one of my blueprints that raises the blender a little bit. So unconfigured singletons, BB blender. We've used this one recently. So if I hologram it, it's going to center it. That's good. And I want the output to be headed toward the middle, sort of. So, oh, okay, there's the blueprint alignment. So the fluid is going to come in from that direction and wrap around to the back. And the solids are going to come in from that direction and wrap around to the back. So really, this guy needs to be on a diagonal. Yeah, right. I am, once again, not thinking in terms of diagonals. So we're going to do like we did on the 6 Easies, the big 6, and we're going to button this guy up with walls and so on. Meanwhile, what's his recipe? His recipe is one blender making fused modular frame. So he needs one gas input and only one solid output. So no gas output, no fluid output, and no second fluid input. Okay. Our power is pegged there. This output is going to be going out and across. So this input needs to come along this line. Like that. Output to there. Split to there. And out this direction. I don't need those. And I don't need those. Oh, I already loaded a complete stack in there. Well, that's no good. You're sticking me with a stack. We can route this. You're going to come around to here. And then around to here. And you are a solid input. Make sure this guy is still building. I think I'm going to do is boot you guys up a little bit. You got a lot of Summers loops, by the way. Some of them may be duplicated, some of them may be from the recent duplication in-game respawning. I didn't know which ones I'd picked up and which ones I hadn't, so I probably picked up a bunch that had respawned. Who knows? I'm going to stop caring about how many Summers loops I've got now. I will just use them sparingly. Is that a thing? Aluminum casing and nitrogen gas. We can bring the nitrogen gas into here. It's coming in from over here. Which means this is actually okay. I want to bring it in along this line. So if it's currently here, so bring it out this way, say 2, 3, about there. I want to bring it back that way, which means we need to come to here. It's on that line, so I think that's where it comes to. Okay, and this guy, he's on this line, so 1, 2. And a gentle slope up at the end. And you have no power. You come to here, I'm going to be building a subfloor, add a superfloor on you. But I'm not going to be building you out all the way. I'm just going to be building you out to here. Walls. Where did that go? There it is. That's not at the right level. That is. So these guys are going to be bringing him in a nice door, bringing him out a nice door. Let's bring the output out there. I can actually curve it back and in. Like that. And this last guy is from the outside. You can tell I'm being a little cagey on these because they are not on a nice center here. Not going to be using a wall hole for the pipes. I would have a hard time getting it placed properly, and even then, not clear what the width is. So this guy, I could do that, or I could do a half foundation there. That might actually look better. There we go. So you had your power being brought down to the subfloor there, and I'm going to be taking it down further. You're on that corner. I just put that down twice, didn't I? I guess clicking it the second time did nothing. Okay, so you've got power. You've got modular frames and nitrogen gas. You just need your aluminum casing coming in right there. And we're going to be bringing it in, how about this guy? I didn't give you a drone. Aluminum casing supply. So there's the center point. We need to be bringing it down somewhere here. I'm going to bring it down here. And that's the wrong direction. So 4, raise it up, reverse it. There we go. So once we get aluminum casings, we'll start getting fused modular frames, which then have to be exported and also sent across diagonally to where we're going to be building the pressure conversion cubes. And I'm going to send it right down the middle here. And we need to figure out where this guy's picking it up. So this guy just kind of came out and made a little bend outward. So let's try doing that. And the other thing I did was to put in a sleeve at this level. So we need to come by here, drop some in here, and go on over to there. Like that. Splitter coming from this direction. Does this clip on? It does. I'm going to take this. I need to take it inside a hue. And over this direction. It's going to go to this guy. He also needs to come out and export, so this will need to make a transition here. How are you doing? You are not getting casings yet. Three minutes, 31 seconds. So I'm not sure why the eye thing is flashing, unless it's because I haven't looked at it. It's still flashing. So it's not that it's asking me to set a preferred one. Maybe it's just because that's like a big change that nobody talked about a lot. At least nobody that I noticed. There's so many things people talk about in this patch. Maybe they just wanted to make sure people understood that you don't have to just use batteries on these guys. There we go. Get some casings going. Get this guy actually producing some output. That's going to take a while. But it's running, so we're going to mark it off. Now, pressure conversion cube, I need fused modular frames and radio control units. Oh, this is just an assembler. Oh, this is going to be easy. Let's just drop it down. Just like that. So power's going to be somewhere along there. If I'm lucky, it'll be like right along that line. That's good enough. That's good enough. Now, apparently I left one of the wires off on my blueprint. Not a big deal, but unexpected. So this is pressure conversion cube. 1 modular frame a minute, 2 RCUs per minute, producing 1 pressure conversion cube per minute. That is really frippin' slow. Holy shit. Really? Okay, so we only need 0.234 per minute for our plans. Our plans are basically to satisfy the elevator in 8 hours. So yeah, I guess our rates are that low. My goodness. Okay, so there's pressure conversion cube, ready to start hooking up. So we're going to bring you in somewhere here, doesn't matter where. This guy is just a pure export, so let's get him routed. Oh, did I give these guys names? Heavy Modular Frame Supply. And you're not getting anything, because I neglected to hook you up here. So you are fused modular frames. Where did we go? Here, here, here. Right. This guy. You want to come out and over just like these guys. We're not going to give you a name until we see stuff in your bin. We need you to also have a hole coming through the middle. You're going to come down from here, so you just like the other guys, and you are going to come out like this. You've already got some fused modular frames, and now you need radio control units. I'm going to tap U for RCUs. You're set, and you are in motion. RCUs come down here. I think I'm going to take you this way, so you just come right in. So, thinking about how I'm moving things around, the rates I'm going, I suspect that fuel, turbo fuel, is going to be one of my limiting factors in this particular way of building the factory, because basically each time one of these guys empties, it'll go get more. It will pick up whatever is available. It doesn't wait to be full. It just picks up whatever's there. It'll come and drop it. It'll pick up whatever's there, and it'll come and drop it. And I think the steady state is going to happen when it's not spending much time waiting at either end. So it's just going to be making these constant trips. Unless our production, well, no. If our production is bigger, if we're always producing more, then we will tend to have a full channel. And if we have a full channel, it means we are sending a full drone. So the drone will pick up a full load, and when it gets back, it will still be able to pick up a full load, and then it'll have to wait to unload. And by the time it's done unloading, it'll be able to pick up a full load again. Okay, so maybe the drones aren't going to be whizzing around with partial loads. Now, if we were consuming more than we are producing, so any line consuming more than it's producing, the drones will be running as fast as possible, and they will end up getting partial loads because they'll go back and get more, and there won't be as many as we need. And they will tend to, if we're truly using more than we're building, they will arrive to an empty drone station. So they'll drop what they have and they'll go back. So we always want to be producing more than we're consuming if we're using drone lines. Got it. Probably bonus points if we can fill the manifold before we get things cranking up. So in the future, when I am planning the drone stuff, what I want to do is I want to start at the output end, and I want to plan what are my output rates. And whatever my input rates are, I want to have more than that available from the next stage. Now, if I have two drone ports pulling from the same source, one of them grabs a whole bunch, the other one lands, maybe it's not all there. I don't know, it looks like it. I think we have enough space in the bin here for two. Yeah, this is enough for two drone loads. So as long as it's only two of them, we're okay. More than that, I think things get a little dicey, and we start counting on filling the manifolds. And it really is a giant manifold at that point. Are you building? You are building. It takes you a full minute to build a pressure conversion cube. Did I leave somebody slooped? I think I left somebody slooped. So let's go collect up our sloops and power shards. I don't think I slooped or power sharded this guy. Yeah, he's green. Yeah, the little light changes color when you're slooped, if you sloop and power shard the guy. So the green becomes blue, and then you get the purple flames if you're slooped. So the blue here is for overclocking. And that's it. We now have all of our products here being lifted up to the top of Big 4. We are very low quantity here. But I think that's all we need to do. Let's see. Let's take off the editor here. Most of our stations are idle. They're just sitting there waiting to be assigned. We've got fuel. We've got inputs assigned where we need inputs. We have our 3 outputs. Now, where can I go to get a good aerial view of this? Let's head back over to Big 6. Go up to the top of Big 6 and see what Big 4 looks like. There we go. I'm going to go here. I'm just going to keep going up. And there we have it. There's the factory that I'm calling Big 4. And it's grinding away, making a few things very, very slowly. I think maybe our next step is to start producing the 4 items that actually go into the space elevator. We're getting so close, and it's 2.5 hours in, so I'm going to call this a recording, and I will see you in the next one.